Jordan, we are back with TGIF. We're here to spill the tea and break down the biggest headlines in the news and on social media. So sit back, relax, and get ready to sip on this hot tea. What's up, Al? And what's up, Q? Hey, fellas.
What's going on,
everybody? Happy Monday.
Are we drinking tonight?
No, I am unlocking my better self. I got a little bit of cranberry juice over here.
Clear the pipe.
No, I just didn't have time to get down to the bar. I would be drinking, but no, I'm not drinking tonight.
I got a little bit of vodka and simply lemonade tonight because I have one of them days today.
That's a good little combo. I've been having one of those months, but I'm trying not to lean that way when I'm having a hard. So we'll see.
I actually cried today over just people, like just letting you down. And once I cry, I have a headache for the whole day. And it just like makes every little thing be a thing. Like, are y'all like that? Like it's like breaking the seal, then the whole day is like done. You know what I mean? This
last week, it must be something in the energy. Mercury must be in retrograde because my energy's been off too, put it that way. My energy's been off as well.
Just being disappointed in people, you know? And necessarily not what you put out there is what you get back. And I've always had a hard time with accepting that, you know, like how things should be versus what they are. And I don't want to get sappy in the show, but I do like when we talk about these kind of things.
Yeah, I'm depressed now.
Yeah. But I think there's some soulmates that could probably like be like, yeah, me too. I'll be going through that too. And I'm glad y'all touched upon it. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to figure out ways around it without, you know, we still got to keep it moving. How are y'all doing today? Y'all doing fine? Y'all doing okay?
I'm doing good. Making it.
Al, how you doing today?
Hey, traveling. You know, I'm back on the East Coast teaching this week in class, my hybrid class at Bowie State University. You know, this is actually, I'm not sad because being around young kids really, really motivate me. Teaching them motivates me. Being on a college campus motivates me. Seeing all those people kind of living out their dreams, all of that crap motivates me. I don't know. So it's hard for me to be depressed when I'm around a university campus ever.
Speaking of college, I put a post up the other day. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I just said, hey, what was your major or what did you think you were going to be when you were younger? And are you working in your field? And it was pretty interesting seeing the responses. Did y'all think y'all be doing what you're doing now when you were like, you know, young, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed back in the day? Well, I guess not because Q, you were going for accounting.
Well, no, absolutely no. I absolutely saw myself doing what I'm doing now. I didn't have the grades to get into the School of Communications. So that's I was too.
How do you not have the grades to get into School of Communications, but can get an economics degree?
Right.
Well, because our communications program was really good at Florida State, and it was a limited access program. And that year, you needed a 3.0 to get in my year, but the average was a 3.5, and I had a 2.7.
Oh.
So I didn't even bother applying.
Claudia, I'll say this. I graduated from the School of Architecture. I never studied or practiced architecture. But when I was a young kid, I used to play banker all the time. I know, yeah, sounds right? I used to play banker all the time, and I did become a banker. So I did live out what I wanted to be from when I was younger, but not for what I went to school for.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I was gonna be I want to be into marine biology, and then I also wanted to work in a lab and study diseases. And then one meeting with one teacher, I wrote an article for the school newspaper. I volunteered, and she said, "You're a really good writer," and I go, "I am." And she encouraged me. Then I got with the school newspaper, the school radio station, and then got my FCC license back when you had to use a razor to splice tape. We used to have to like cut the ends of the tape and tape them together. That's how we would edit. Like when you do a promo, you go, and you may breathe before you talk. Mm-hmm. We had to cut that out. Like we had to be very, very hands-on. So yeah, and FCC is like a lifelong license that you have. So I'm kind of proud of that. But here we are today talking about booty holes and all kind of relevant topics. All right, let's get into the show. Now, before we dive into some topics, we are kicking off the show by highlighting random facts about Breast Cancer Awareness Month with Did You Know? All right, we generally associate breast cancer with women, but did you know, according to the African American Breast Cancer Alliance, Black men in the United States have higher rates of various types of breast cancer compared to white men. Did you guys have any knowledge of this?
No. Not at all. And I know I heard once back in the day that men can get breast cancer, but you kind of forget it because you don't hear about it often, and you never see the people on social media or the celebrities saying, oh, Tom Hanks has breast cancer. So you kind of forget that men can even get it.
I feel like I didn't know this at all, but it kind of makes sense because breast cancer, one of the key factors is sheer stress, right? And I can imagine being a Black man, you're experiencing more sheer stress than white men. So therefore it could manifest in some type of cancerous cell in the breast tissue.
This wasn't a Black man, but a friend of mine. Remember Rod Roddy on The Price is Right, the voice of The Price is Right that say, "Come on down," with the glittery jackets. He was the first man I've ever heard of that had breast cancer. He ended up succumbing and dying of it. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. So I'm glad we're talking about this and making y'all aware. So fellas, y'all need to stay on top of this as well as us. So, all right, y'all, great conversation. Soulmates, if you're a survivor of breast cancer, or have been diagnosed, please submit your photo, hometown, and your testimony to TGIF at foxsoul.tv. That's TGIF at foxsoul.tv. We love to share your story with our audience. All right, y'all. Let's jump into some topics. Oh my God, this lady here. Jada Pinkett Smith has been on a tea spilling campaign to promote her new memoir, Worthy. She's talking to everybody. We probably could get an interview with Jada Pinkett right about now. Like, she's talking to anybody that want to listen to her. Jada, holla. Well, now the actress is finally addressing the tea surrounding her and Will's sexuality and their alleged interest in being swingers. Jada replied to the rumors and said, "I would say that none of that is true. I definitely can understand why there'd be misunderstandings, but none of it's true." Girl, don't you know a lot of us done seen in LA? We done heard the tea and seen the tea, and now some people got jobs on your shows. What do y'all think?
That sounds like some good tea, Claudia. Keep spilling.
One more sip and I will. Now, what do you think about this? She needs to stop, though. Seriously.
Well, this is the deal. I mean, just like she said she never cheated on Will. That's what her new interview questions are. She said she's never cheated on Will and she would never do that to him. Okay, then so what was August Alsina? I don't know what's going on with her, but at this point, I don't think there's too much that we can trust coming out of her mouth. I don't know what's real, what's not real, what's vulnerable, what's healing, and what's just simply trying to sell books. So I would say this. I do feel sorry for Will Smith. And I just hope whatever it is that these trauma bonds that these two are sharing, that they both get it settled and settled soon. And don't write any more books, please. I beg of both of you.
Q, what you think about this?
So funny when you said don't write any more books. I just realized Jada said Will wrote his book, so now she got to one-up him. Here's the thing, right? Normally when people go on these book tours, the whole point is to sell books to make money. I just don't understand people who got all the money already. Like, why are you spilling all your tea to make more money? I just don't get it. Y'all have A-list money. So the motive behind this book, and it's funny now because as annoyed as we are, I'm going to tell you, she's doing a pretty good job because now I kind of want to know what's the rest of the tea. And I might have to get like the audio book to kind of see what the rest of the tea is.
Listen, I know people think that I have a hard on for Jada, and I don't. And people say, Will actually started it, but he's not really getting a lot of the smoke. He did divulge some stuff in his book, and I haven't had a chance to read it. And I think, y'all probably do have a point. We do cover her more, and she's going to get more smoke. But let me tell you something. I know for a fact, with my own knowledge of what I've seen, experienced, been around, and seen on a set I worked with where Jada Pinkett was there. I don't know, is it cheating if you mess with a girl or you try to get at a girl? Because a Hollywood producer called me today, that is a female, that we spoke about how she was trying to recruit her as well. I'm not going to spill her tea because she didn't tell me I could say it was her. But we talked about this today. Me and this girl talked, and she's like, girl, she was trying to get me and saying, don't knock it till you try it. It was her and another actress that was in one of the Bill Cosby shows, spinoffs. And those two were trying to get at my friend, allegedly. So is that cheating? If it's like, if you like mess around with a girl and you marry, right? Or you try, is that cheating? Because like, I never cheated, you lying.
It's giving me technicality. It's giving me, it's not cheating if he knew. It's giving me, I've got permission to do it. It's giving me, we're in an open marriage, so it's really not cheating. That's what it's giving.
It's giving me, Claudia needs to drink before work more often because I love the way she's spilling this tea.
It just irritates me. Like, just don't say anything. If there's something that I've done, let me just spill some of my tea. I've done mushrooms before. I would not go on this show and say, oh my God, I would never do drugs of any kind. I would never do any of that. It's like, I would just, when y'all talk about drugs, I would just be like,
just be quiet. Right. Not me, girl.
That's all you would get from me. You would just get me, but when you go on tours, and that's, I think that's why Jada's getting more smoke than Will, because Will's not saying anything. He just like being quiet because he knows he's got some dirt with him as well. Mm-hmm. But she's like all this trying to be perfect because I know she markets herself as a healer, and I get that, right? But a real healer would say, I've done this, I've done that, I've been toxic, I've healed myself from that, and now I can give you my testimony, and here I am. But the fake still, I didn't do that, I didn't do this. Girl, there's too many of us that have seen you around LA, who have seen you on the set. Remember when Ellen had her show? Mm-hmm. I did extra work on that episode, and Jada was a guest on that. And one of the stagehands damn near tried to deliver me to her. Okay.
Well,
so I'm just going to say,
hot tea right here.
I'm not lying, but I'm not lying though. So I'm not afraid to say this. I was doing extra work. I was very shy, and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea what was happening. But like people get, they bring her over here. I want to meet her and all that kind of stuff. What you want from me? I'm making $100 a day doing extra work. I'm just saying, stop it. Just be quiet, because people like me who have a couple drinks are going to be like making you look crazy.
But girl, while you taking a sip, let's hit some of these comments. Derek said, I'm tired of the whole damn family. And Tanya Williams said, no need to buy that dang old book. She's telling everything. And Ansel D'Angelo said, okay, but I want to know the details with Will and Dwayne, Claudia.
All right, Claudia, let's go. Take a sip.
All I know.
Uh-oh.
Dwayne Martin, he's there's a lot of real estate in LA. Him and Will are good friends. I think he had a Bentley at one point. He's always been very nice to me.
But
I ain't never seen them do nothing. I heard rumors like y'all heard rumors, but I ain't never seen, I never synced it. But there's rumors, but I ain't never seen nothing like that. Ask Lisa Ray about that. No, I'm sorry, not ask Lisa Ray. Who else was talking about that? Someone really has a lot of Tisha. Ask Tisha, not Lisa. Let me not let Lisa Ray catch a
I'm gonna call Tisha as soon as we get off the air. As soon as we get off the line, I'm calling Gina.
All right, y'all. But this is all alleged. All right. Transgender woman Dylan Mulvaney was recently named Woman of the Year by Virgin Atlantic and a British LGBTQ magazine. During her acceptance speech, Dylan said, I'm so honored to be with you all tonight. And some see me as the Woman of the Year, some see me as Woman of the Year, and some change, as I only publicly came out online 560 days ago. And some people don't see me as a woman at all. Any thoughts on Dylan receiving this recognition? Go ahead, Q. I want to hear this.
Actually none. And this is one of those stories I was like, oh Lord, I hope tonight Claudia don't go on one of her tangents with this woman stuff and this trans stuff, because I'm not in the mood for it. But honestly and truthfully, this really is a non-story. It's an LGBTQ magazine. Let it alone. It's not like it's Sports Illustrated. It's not like it's Entertainment Tonight. If she's going to be named Woman of the Year anywhere, let it be in the LGBTQ space. This really is a non-story, in my opinion.
Al?
I'm gonna have to disagree with Q on this one. I understand where he's coming from by saying it's a non-story because it's in a LGBTQ plus magazine. However, just within that community, some women in that community feel marginalized when these type of awards are given to trans women. So, I was thinking about it. How do you actually answer this question without offending natural born women versus also not offending trans women? So I was thinking, maybe is it wrong for them to just create a whole new category and call it Trans Woman of the Year?
I can't speak for trans women. I can't speak for them, but my assumption is that doesn't work because I'm a woman.
Okay, I got it. So then let me shift the conversation then, because I that's some murky waters that I am not prepared for, and the discussion that's harder. But I do want to talk about this. Why don't we hear or see these discussions when it comes to trans men? Like, I really feel like some way that it's manipulated in how things are reported, how it's coverage and highlighted in media, or is someone in the higher up saying, "Hey, let's create this division between trans women and cisgender women"?
I can answer that succinctly for you.
Okay.
And the simple answer is male privilege. The simple answer is, and that's why you don't see men fighting with trans men, because they'll never be a threat.
Got it.
And it literally is that simple. A trans man will never be a threat to a man because of male privilege.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, let me go ahead and say something. And I take slight offense to you, Q, saying that I don't want her to go on her rants. I'm supposed to defend. If we had a gay issue and I said, and it was an issue that affected your community, you would definitely defend yours and go hard.
No, you just teeter the lines of transphobic and homophobic.
No, I don't.
You do. You do. Because we defended our communities. You do.
And what if I said you teeter the lines of being negative and Black women hatred? Like, no.
I'll accept it. It won't be the first time I heard it.
Because then you sit there and make a video about how you don't. It's not transphobic when I say I'm just being positive and pro women, and I've never said anything negative about trans women. I've actually have defended a lot of times. I remember being on shows with people, with men, straight men, just cisgender men, which I don't like using that term, but natural born men, and fighting vehemently for the rights and the acknowledgement of the trans community. The problem with this, and I think, and you're also part of this, you can't have a space where if I have any criticism for something you've done and you happen to be gay or trans, that means it's an indictment against the community, because that's not fair. It's an indictment against the individual, an argument with the individual, but it's not fair to put that on someone, because it makes people just be afraid to have a real honest conversation. Like, if you have a fight with me and it's about principle, a thing, right? Not anything to do with me as a Black woman or you as a gay man, it should not be deemed as you being anti-Black woman, and it should not be deemed as me being homophobic or transphobic. If I can never criticize you because of what box you check off, is that equal rights or is that privilege? And I think that's unrealistic. I have no hatred or fear of the trans community, and I resent that label. So I'm going to say something every single time. And yes, this woman being named Woman of the Year in a neutral space, of course I would have something to say about that. But in a trans space, hell no, have at it. But since we voice our opinions, I think there's other trans women that are more notable that deserve it. And I'll say T.S. Madison deserves it more for the strides that T.S. Madison has made. I just heard about Dylan 300 days ago. So that's what I'm saying. I have to say something, because I feel like when we make comments like that, it just shuts people up, that I can't say anything critical or I'm going to be deemed transphobic, when you know that's not the case. We've had conversations about this, and I just want to make that very clear. All right? I don't have any hatred or phobias for the community. I don't. All right, y'all. Coming up next, Monica reveals why she feels underappreciated as an artist, and later we have your T fact of the day. Stay close. We'll be right back. Hit that like button, y'all.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
You did not just tell me about the word Riz.
Riz.
Oh,
I gave y'all free Riz.
McMillan and Mara.
When you want to meet a woman or meet a guy, say something about the space.
Yeah.
And see how they respond.
Every Thursday.
Because if the person can't respond to an observation about the space that's clear, you talking to a dummy. Or someone you might take home, but not to your mama. And you know what I'm saying.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, y'all. Monica revealed in an interview with Maverick Carter and Paul Revere that she feels underappreciated as an artist. Monica said, "I'm actually a person that, for all the records I've broken, I really have never won any awards. I'm really the most forgotten if you think about it. I'm pretty much the underdog, but I sit very comfortably in it because I can still go wherever I want, do what I want, live how I want." I think this is a pretty interesting thing because Monica is a very talented person. And, you know, does she really get her flowers? What are your thoughts on this remarks? Q, I know you're super into music and you're like our music guru here. What do you think about what she said?
You know what she said was very interesting. And for somebody who's been in the business for a very long time, this really could hurt a person's feelings, right? You know, you see your peers, you see these new people coming out getting awards, and you've never gotten one. But I oftentimes when I have these conversations with people, I like to use the comparison of Diana Ross and Patti LaBelle, right? Like Patti LaBelle never became the mega superstar that Diana Ross became, but Patti LaBelle's still working. You know what I'm saying? She's one of those people, she never did like this, but she did like this. And Patti is still working to this day. And not that Diana Ross can't work, because when she comes out, she sells out. But people like Patti LaBelle, they still work consistently. You got some people who peak, get all the awards. You got other people who are just flatline, plateaued, consistent artists. And I think Monica is one of those artists that will be like a Patti LaBelle, who will be performing for 50 years versus someone who peaks, becomes a mega superstar, then goes and sits down somewhere. So you have to just ask yourself, you know, what type of career do you want? Do you want the one that comes with all the accolades, or do you want the 50-year working career? And I think that Monica will be one of the girls with the 50-year working career.
All right. Al, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with Q, because I'm gonna tell you what, if Monica to me is like a touring artist, because every stop is sold out. She stays working, she stays singing. And when I think about her, I think about Brandy, I think about Monica, I think about Aaliyah, and I think about Maya. I put them all in like that same category. And the ones that kind of peaked and did better were the ones that also were able to do that crossover into main media. And I think Brandy, because they were all doing it at the same time, because Brandy was able to do it first, somewhere in there, Monica got lost, right? And I don't think that her fans liked her any less. I just feel like the label politics could have placed her where she presently is today.
Trevor Mitchell said, yes, Monica has never received many awards. They all went to Brandy and Usher during her era. Do you think people looked at her like she was the more like street, unpolished, which I'm not saying she is, but you know, she's more like urban, right? And then it's like Brandy was the safer but
the crossover,
equally counted, right?
Well, most definitely. And, you know, it's so funny. And Monica always talks about in interviews the Holy Trinity, which was her, Aaliyah, and Brandy. And of the three of them, you know, Brandy and Aaliyah did cross over more into those white spaces. You had Brandy, who became the Disney girl. You know what I'm saying? So once you go Disney, that's a wrap. And then you had Aaliyah, who crossed over and was doing the movies and all of that. I'm not going to promise you that if you go into a lot of white spaces that they know Monica's music. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for white people, but I'm willing to bet, Monica's music doesn't resonate with white crowds as much as Brandy's and Aaliyah's may have at that time.
And didn't it feel like the song in the video, "The Boy Is Mine," kind of made Brandy seem like the good girl, and Monica was like the problematic, was the aggressor. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I mean, it could be possible, but that's also because of stereotypes that are put on to Black women. You know what I'm saying? Monica does have a more sassy, traditional, sister girl attitude. And then, Brandy was media trained. And again, she was the Disney princess. So yeah, she came in, all angelic and soft. And so, I mean, all of that could have been a factor.
All right, moving on. A reporter is claiming that Carly Russell's mother, Talitha Russell, tried to grab his phone after her daughter was charged in the kidnapping hoax. Check this out.
Why did you lie, Carly Russell? Why did you lie to the public? Why did you blame a white man? Why did you blame a white man? Why did you blame a white... Don't touch my phone, lady. Lady, don't touch my phone. Don't touch my phone. Why did you... Miss Russell, why did you grab my phone? Why did you grab my phone, Miss Russell? Why did you lie to national television?
All right, Al, let me hear from you first. What are your thoughts on this clip?
Now, listen, I will agree that the reporter was very aggressive. He was not objective, and he did put like a racial slant on it. But after I watched how she pranced around there and responds to it, just something about how she behaved just did not sit well in my soul. I say this, and I don't know where it's coming from. But if anybody wants to know where Carly Russell gets her sense of entitlement and delusion, take a look at this video and let me know if you see where she really got it from. I say she got it from her mama.
Q, what you think?
I've been going off on her mama since they did that Good Morning America interview, or whichever one it was, the big national interview. And they didn't circle back and apologize. You know what I'm saying? Like, even to this day, y'all have yet to circle back and apologize. And I just have no tolerance for people who double down on wrong and double down on dumb. You got on the news and damn near blessed us out. You know what I'm saying? How dare we, not believe your daughter and re-trauma. And then when you found out your daughter lying, a simple America, I'm sorry, I don't know why my daughter did this, but we're trying to get to the bottom of it, would have sufficed. And you have yet to come back and apologize to people who were out there praying, looking for your daughter, spending resources and stuff. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. That lady should have slapped the shit out of that reporter, all right? Because he was trying to bait her. He was trying to bait her into doing something violent and aggressive. And she should have did something violent and aggressive. Yeah, I ain't even gonna waste my time saying I don't condone violence. I do think there are certain situations where you ain't got no other choice but to bop somebody ass in the mouth. He needed to be bopped in the mouth.
What do we think about what's her name offering restitution to pay her restitution if Carly? Yeah.
Who?
Candace Owens. Candace Owens.
I'm sorry.
Candace Owens has agreed to pay Carly Russell's restitution, which is, I think, $18,000 if she gives her a one-on-one and tells us, the public, where she was for 48 hours. What do you think?
Carly Russell would be a damn fool to go on that show, because Candace Owens' only objective is to vilify Black people and to make that girl look bad and to make her cry and to bait her into looking stupid. She'd be a damn fool to go on Candace Owens' show.
So I got to keep the same energy for Carly as we would if it was a white person and blaming a Black person for something they did, because none of that shit is right? None of that stuff is right. When you're wrong, and to piggyback off of both, how dare you get defensive when you're wrong? Your daughter is wrong. I know it's embarrassing, and I know people say Black women, we don't like to apologize, and a lot of times that's true. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. But listen, in this case, national attention, like, your daughter did us dirty. With the current state of how they don't look for Black women when they're kidnapped, and then you go do this, you should be a little bit more humble and say, you know what, I was out of my mind, temporary insane, I was tripping, I am sorry. And the mother should be like, you know what, just pray for my daughter. But to be all aggressive like that, you're not helping with your image, right? Right. As a brand strategist, that was like a terrible look to get all like that. All right, y'all, let's move on. Nene Leakes has been very open about her past relationships and shared that she once considered an open marriage, but she prefers to be with someone who loves her. Nene said, I considered it, but I know that's not who I am as a person. I really would want to be with somebody that really loves me and really wanted to be there for me. Any thoughts on this, fellas? And would you consider an open marriage? Go ahead, Q.
First off, let me say Nene Leakes has spent a large part of her adult life in a relationship, so I can completely understand how now she feels so unsettled not having a partner when she's so used to having a husband. And something that she said in that pillow talk that resonated with me, what triggered all of this is when she went to the doctor's office and she had to put down an emergency contact, and she did not have anyone to put down. And I must say, if I'm being very vulnerable and transparent here, I have moments of, oh, shoot, you are single and don't have nobody either when it's time for me to put down my emergency contact. And God forbid I have to put down 2 contacts. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's weird because I put down 2 people. I put down my best friend, Jonathan. I put down my sister. My sister got a husband and got kids. My other sister's got Isaac. You know what I'm saying? Is that really my emergency contact? Like, you know what I'm saying? If I get in a car accident and lose both of my legs, am I really going to go pile on to be the 4th child to my other sister? And my nephew's mom, she's a single mom. Like, am I really going to go be an invalid at her house? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of alone out here. So I get what she's saying. As far as the open marriage thing is concerned, I also get where that level of ponderance is coming from, because you just want somebody in any type of configuration. But my heart goes out to Nene, and I think, she'll find somebody else pretty soon.
Al, what do you think?
So I've been thinking about this a lot, because in all of my astrology readings that I kind of do on a regular, tells me that I'm going to be participating in a non-traditional, and not same sex, but a different non-traditional type of relationship, which is going to lead to a long-term partnership. And I was thinking, does that mean that I may have more than one partner? Because isn't that what open marriage is? You have one or more sexual or romantic partners. And my whole thing in my head is I can get down with that as it relates to being the receiver of it. But for me to have to share my partner with somebody, I think that's the part where open marriages I cringe at. Because honestly, I don't want anybody else being romantically entwined and physically enjoying my partner. I'd like to enjoy it.
Nene, I'm gonna say this to you, Nene. Again, you're someone that's used to being in a long-term relationship with someone. Don't compromise. I know you've been out the dating game for a long time, and it's gonna be really scary to get back in after having stability for so many years. But I think you'll be unhappy with that as well. So don't do that. Just be patient. I will say this. I will like to kind of put this message out to other women and men that kind of come for women that don't have someone. Well, where is your man? Don't take joy in that, because you never know when that's going to come back to you. And this is not a dig to her. This is a dig to a lot of women that do this to women and put this unnecessary pressure on us, where if you don't have a man or a child, that you're somehow less worthy, something's wrong with you. And then you find yourself in that area. You're like, damn, it's not as easy as we'd like it to be. And if you really hold out for what you want, it's going to be even harder. So I'm glad you're not compromising. No, screw that. You don't need to do that. And yeah. All right, y'all. Coming up next, we have a tea fact of the day, and later find out why an Oklahoma judge is under fire. Keep it locked and hit that like button. We'll be right back.
You did not just tell me about the word Riz.
Riz.
Oh,
I gave y'all free Riz.
McMillan and Mara.
When you want to meet a woman or meet a guy, say something about the space.
Yeah.
And see how they respond.
Every Thursday.
Because if the person can't respond to an observation about the space that's clear, you talking to a dummy. Or someone you might take home, but not to your mama. And you know what I'm saying.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out? You You can say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You can chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
TGIF.
Al and I, battle of the cleavage. Who got the sluttiest shirt on tonight? I say Al wins.
Live and interactive.
Curvy girl said Claudia's showing us her white side today. Coming to work with the wet hair. No, I had to do a test in a pool today.
Serving up all the tea.
Funky, how's the dating life going?
It's going to the next thing.
No, the phonies want to know.
I'm like Oprah and Stedman. Y'all will never get my real business. So
on Fox Soul.
Welcome back to TGIF. Real quick, I know y'all get mad. We don't tell you what's happening. We just try to do a little negotiating to some of these things we gotta preach to y'all about, right, Funky?
That's right.
Ain't nothing but $200. I'm just saying it'll cause a lot of creativity, I think. Don't you think?
Sure would, honey.
Let's give them should we give them a sample tonight? Let's see if we can do that.
Let's give them a sample.
Okay, this is what $200 is gonna get you in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all, this episode of TGIF is brought to you by Wild Grain. Now, Wild Grain is the first ever baked from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, fresh pastas, and artisanal pastries. Now, every item bakes from frozen in 25 minutes or less, and no thawing is required. Now, the team at Wild Grain just sent me a new box with so much delicious stuff inside. Let me tell you all about it. Listen, y'all know I like to cook, and sometimes I don't feel like cooking from scratch. I just pop in something from Wild Grains. I add all my little extra ingredients, and I jimmy rig it up a little bit, and it's so good and so convenient, and I love it. I am actually a huge fan of Wild Grain. Al, what was your favorite item that you tried?
If I talk about these peach pockets one more time. Oh, actually, the chocolate pockets are better than the peach pockets. And then the apple pockets are really good too. I think for me, being a single male, the thing that I like the most is that you're getting really good quality bread and pasta that you can it's just ready to go. It's ready to go. You can literally take it out of your refrigerator and bake it, and it tastes exceptional.
It must be awesome because you've definitely been promoting the peach pockets for a long time. So to hear the chocolate is even better. Funky, how has having Wild Grain in your freezer helpful to you when you're hosting or attending a holiday get-together with your family or friends that come through to your place?
It's so funny that you asked me such a specific question. I kid you, no lie. Some of my fraternity brothers were in town yesterday for a wedding. And back in college, we used to have Soul Food Sunday. And I said, y'all want to have Soul Food Sunday since y'all in town? Come up to my house. They got over there. I was like, oh, crap, what am I going to cook? Threw some stuff together. Had some sourdough bread in there, cooked that with part of the meal. And then I didn't have nothing sweet. Threw those doggone peach pockets in there, and it was a hit, and everybody was like, what is this? And I was like, believe it or not, this is some stuff that my job sends us that we promote called Wild Grain, and they loved it.
I mean, that sounds like quite an endorsement to me. And you can now fully customize your Wild Grain box so you can get any combination of breads, pastas, and pastries you like. Now, if you want a box of all bread, all pasta, or all pastries, you can have it. Plus, for a limited time, you can get $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/tea to start your subscription. You heard me, free for croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/tea. That's wildgrain.com/tea, or you can use promo code T at checkout. Promotional consideration furnished by Wild Grain. Let's get back to more topics. I'm just saying.
I hit my note.
We could all agree that social media tends to resurface some of the most random facts in pop culture history. So it's only fair that we unpack those facts in our Tea Fact of the Day. All right. I'm sure y'all remember the classic film Love and Basketball, right, fellas?
Yep.
All right. In a recent interview, Sanaa Lathan revealed that she had a miserable experience on set, mostly because she wasn't the top pick for the role. Gina Prince, by the Wood, who made her directorial debut with this film, wanted someone with a name and who had experience in both acting and on the basketball court. Sanaa said, I think Gina finally got to the point where she had to hire somebody. It's almost like she hired me because she couldn't find somebody else. So there wasn't a lot of joy and there wasn't a lot of trust in me. Wow, who would have known? Because like she's so synonymous with love and basketball, right? What are your thoughts on this T fact of the day? Now, just a little note, Sanaa won an NAACP Image Award and a BET Award for her role in love and basketball. Al, what do you think about this, T?
This is so interesting because I'm thinking, okay, she said two things that needed to exist. One is they had to be familiar with playing basketball, and two, they had to be a big name. So who could that have possibly have been at that time? Because we know Gabrielle Union did try out for this role and did not get it because she didn't think that the director didn't think that that was a good fit either. But I'm just thinking in my head, who else in that time period would be a choice?
No one, because those two worlds seldom cross.
Right.
You had Lisa Leslie, but she couldn't act. You know, she probably couldn't act. And shut up, Q.
And she's too tall, Q. She's
no. I was going to say nothing about Lisa Leslie, but I'm just saying the two worlds seldom cross.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to either act well and not play basketball, or play basketball well and not know how to act. So the Gina, whomever the hell she was looking for a needle in a haystack. And then if there was somebody who could act and who could play basketball, they probably were not a big name, or whatever the case may be. But shame on you, Gina, for creating that type of work environment. I mean, I can only imagine how it would feel to be on set somewhere and feel not wanted. You know what I'm saying? And have to perform that role. That can't be easy.
You know, Q, you said Lisa Leslie. You know, Lisa Leslie and Don Staley were supposed to be in this movie, but because they pushed back production days, it ran into those two being a part of the Olympics, so they weren't able to be in that movie. So it's interesting that you said that.
And to speak to what you said, Q, doing a job where you know that they don't absolutely love you that's got to make it even harder, like so hard to give it your all. You know, being an actor, you got to be vulnerable, you got to be open, you have to like not be so self-conscious. And I'm sure she had to be like, probably every take, she probably was like, was that okay? Looking for anything. That had to be really hard. So for her to do such a good job with all of that, kudos.
And then also, I think I'm gonna have to back up Gina a little bit because you forgot Sanaa Lathan did admit that the first time she ever touched a basketball was making that movie.
So she shouldn't hire her. So she shouldn't hire her.
Yeah. But
it's just that simple.
I can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine the stress around someone who's never played the sport, never touched a basketball, and now I'm your director trying to create a blockbuster film. And an excellent job they did, because this is Black culture iconic film at its highest as it relates to Black love. So great job by everyone.
It had to be hard for both of them, and kudos for them because it's a classic that we still talk about.
Yeah, I mean, too, lastly, before we move on, at the end of the day, they could have hired a body double to do the basketball scenes. I mean,
don't you love when they do that and they don't do great editing and you see like you see a person's face don't look nothing like the
like this really didn't seem like that big of a deal. That's what they have stunt doubles and body doubles for.
Right. All right, y'all, keep it locked because coming up next, an Oklahoma judge may be getting the boot, and later find out if Shannon Sharpe should fire his makeup artist. Keep it locked, man. I can't wait for y'all to see these pictures. We'll be right back.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
TGIF.
Al and I, battle of the cleavage. Who got the sluttiest shirt on tonight? I say Al wins.
Live and interactive.
Curvy girl said Claudia's showing us her white side today. Coming to work with her wet hair. No, I had to do a test in a pool today.
Serving up all the tea.
Funky, how's the dating life going?
It's going to the next thing.
No, the phonies want to know.
I'm like Oprah and Stedman. Y'all will never get my real business. So
on Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Welcome back to the show. I'm looking at the comments right now. Funky, they want to see you. Jillian Faber says they want to see you in a Tubi movie. They said you would be hilarious, and I have to agree with that.
But Claudia, you can set me up. Oh, that's a little too cheap for me, Claudia. And I can't be over there shooting.
They pay good.
No, I'm not talking about the pay. I'm just talking. I would probably be on the set, be like, "Girl, what is this shit y'all got me up here doing?" Like, the Tubi quality just don't be there. So
I'm gonna tell you this, as a Tubi actress, it don't be feeling like it when you do it. Sometimes in the editing, because like when you on set, it be looking good. You be like, damn, we about to light this thing up. And then sometimes they be running out of money when they have to put like a gunshot in later on. You know what I'm saying? But when you there, I'm gonna get you in a Tubi.
Give me a little cameo on a little Tubi movie. I'll do it.
Well, that's gonna be hilarious.
And you know what? Watch me go over there and become like the king of Tubi. Like,
yes.
Is this what my life has been reduced to?
Amen. Listen, I think the people will live for it. I think it'll be funny.
Oh Lord!
In the comments, put some acting mask in the chat if you want to see Funky in some Tubi movies. An Oklahoma judge is under fire for sending more than 500 text messages to her bailiff during a murder trial that involved a 2-year-old victim. Judge Tracy Soderstrom's messages included mocking the prosecutor, praising the defense attorney, and calling a key witness a liar. That sounds like our text messages when we be
we be at work.
We be like in the chat, like, oops, wrong person. All right, what are your thoughts on this sick story? She was in court talking trash. What you think about this, Al?
You can't get more gross negligence, and not only just her duty, but partiality, and not to mention oppression. I've said this before on this show. Anytime a judge is caught doing or behaving like this, every single one of their cases on this, whether it's the city level, state, county, or feds, need to go back and be reviewed. For all our cases need to be reviewed, because I can't imagine that a person who exhibits this type of behavior is not being biased, it does not exercise some form of incompetency, and has not at one point in their career, if not their entire career, been the reason for a miscarriage and justice.
That's right. Q, what do you think about this?
Absolutely. She needs to be taken off the bench, and actually she needs to be disbarred. I mean, this to me suggests that you don't even take your oath serious. You don't take your job serious. The text messages show that your mind is already made up in this case, and that's not fair. You're supposed to be the neutral party to carry out justice in this situation. So I think this is horrible, and we can't trust this woman.
It is good to know, right, that people getting busted for this, like to see how much bias is out there, because a lot of times before technology, we didn't really get to, we didn't get to know that people they didn't leak their messages because there were no text messages, right? And now we get to see, I wonder how many cases were influenced by people that just already had their mind made up before they've done that,
And too, I think there should be something put in place where the attorneys are allowed to call out the judge during court when you see them doing this. The video showed this woman, like right now, I'm playing on my phone. Y'all can tell that I'm playing on my phone. You should be able to call them out.
Mm-hmm. Sonny Clark said these people need to be held to a higher standard. And Queen LJ12 Jack said she's a judge who didn't conceal her bias off the bench with her. Yeah. All right, a woman's mugshot is going viral after she was accused of stabbing a police officer, a taxi driver, and an employee out of Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta. How do you guys feel about this viral photo? Yeah, Al?
I mean, come on. For some reason, when I watched that video, just looking at her mug shot, it made me feel like that mug shot, it made me feel like our mental health care system has failed this woman. She's 44 years old. You can't tell me that somebody who acts and behaves like that does not have a long history of mental health issues. And if she did, why wasn't it taken care of? Is it because she didn't have health insurance? Was it because she didn't have access to therapy? What happened in this woman's development where our mental health system failed her to this means or to this ends?
Mm-hmm. All right, Q, what do you think? And what do you think about our picture? You're on mute.
Let me tell you something. She lucky that police officer in the airport ain't shoot the hell out of her, okay? I was reading this story, and I'm sorry, y'all. This is one of those situations where somebody should have shot the shit out of somebody, all right? She stabbed that man in that taxi. Then she went in the airport. She stabbed the Delta person. The police officer went to mace her. He slipped on the doggone mace. So she then was able to cut him in the doggone leg. Crazy or not, this is one of them cases when somebody should have got the shit shot out of their ass in the airport.
Oh, and don't forget they tried to tase her.
They should have shot the shit out of her.
This is the one time it would have been okay, right? No, we ain't gonna march for her. Ain't no marching for her. All right, y'all, coming up, Shannon Sharpe is addressing his beat face from his morning episode of First Take.
Yes, Miss Shannon.
Oh, wow. Find out all about it when we return.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
You did not just tell me about the word Riz.
Riz!
Oh,
I gave y'all free Riz.
McMillan and Mara.
When you want to meet a woman or meet a guy, say something about the space.
Yeah.
And see how they respond.
Every Thursday.
Because if the person can't respond to an observation about the space that's clear, you talking to a dummy. Or someone you might take home, but not to your mama. And you know what I'm saying.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
Welcome back. Yo, the chat is so shady. I am not going to say what y'all listen, support everything on Fox Soul, okay? That's all I'm going to say. All right, y'all. Shannon Sharpe's face was casket beat this morning on First Take.
Oh, my goodness.
The TV personality tweeted an image of himself with a caption, appreciate the concern over my makeup this morning on First Take. This was her first time doing my makeup, and it was a little heavy. My appearance is important, but not as important as my takes. Hopefully the takes were great as usual. What are your thoughts on Shannon's beat face and production? Can we see that one more time? Please.
Baby,
Please.
let me tell you something. Shannon Sharpe had on that cremation number 5, baby. That's him Brown right there. That's him Brown. He looked casket ready, baby. He looked like He looked like Willie Watkins did his face with a Fedra New Funeral Home, somebody. And then he had on the funeral suit too. Who got the body?
That's hilarious. Was that makeup artist a former mortician, maybe?
No, he said he did it.
No, he didn't say he did it.
He said this was the first time he did his makeup himself.
No. This is the first time this makeup artist did his makeup. And he said that he's going to give her or him another chance and he'll get better or she'll get better. But was this makeup artist a former mortician or something, or a drag queen makeup artist? Because that right there was a...
So what's the issue, Claudia? You're a woman. Is it on heavy or is it the wrong color?
Production, can you put the picture up one more time so we can just thoroughly break this down?
Maybe it's the face he's making.
It's the face and
the big shoulders.
I think the expression. I think she put a foundation on it. It definitely doesn't look like anything powder on. He looks very shiny, and she glossed his lips just a little too much. Like the lip gloss is definitely popping. Don't you think it's like a little wet looking, the lips?
It is. And see, here's what's weird, right? Because Shannon Sharpe, I don't know what he looks like outside of makeup. I'm going out on a limb here and saying that he looks like he has pretty deep chocolate, even skin. And I know somebody like me, when I go on television jobs, and even this one, I don't even use foundation. I put a little bit of concealer up under here, a little stripe of liner, and just a little bit of powder. Like people like me and Shannon Sharpe, because we got that good skin. We don't need no heavy beat. We don't need no heavy. He's not.
Here we go.
Claudia, I got a question for you. Claudia, I got a question for you. Would you date Shannon Sharpe?
Sure. He's in shape. He's successful. I'll help him with his makeup. He's smart. I look like he got a banging ass body. And I like opinionated men. I like men that other men respect. I love that. Like, that's sexy to me. Would you date him, Al?
Good question. Let's see. Yeah, he's pretty tall. He's successful. He seems smart.
He rich, Al.
Yeah, he got money. I just don't think we would have the same sensitivities. Even though he's from South Carolina, he doesn't give me like he hangs out with black people often.
Baby, let me tell you something. RP in the chat said he just need a wig and you got Ving Rhames playing Patti LaBelle.
Funky, would you date him? Is he attractive to you?
He's attractive, but he too strong. He and I, we'll be in the kitchen fussing all the time.
He's too strong.
Yeah, like we both have a very strong energy. Like it looked like we would be fussing over like where we going for breakfast. Well, I said I want Burger King this morning, but damn it, we going to White Castle. Like it just seemed like that our relationship would just be one big tussle.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, y'all. A white man has finally been charged after admitting to stealing the infamous ruby slippers from the movie The Wizard of Oz. The shoes were stolen in 2005 from the Judy Garland Museum in Minnesota, and they were recovered by the FBI in 2018. 76-year-old Terry John Martin pleaded guilty to a single count of theft of a major artwork. Any thoughts on this dusty criminal Q?
FBI. Well, first of all, why is this an FBI case? Number one,
right?
Like of all the things, but number two, the FBI slipping. Like it took y'all that long to find some dusty ass shoes, Al.
This is the right complexion for protection. Him and that lady, Carolyn Bryant, the one from the Emmett Till, allegedly they were too old and too sick to actually bring any charges against them.
I mean, it's a waste of taxpayer dollars. I'm not even. Carolyn Bryant should have got the electric chair. Him over these shoes. We've already wasted FBI payroll. It's a waste of time. The man's on the damn machine. God about to take care of it.
Well, why did that black woman, what's that nurse, Sybil? You guys remember that nurse, Sybil? She was 70-something years old, and she was in self-defense. And now she's serving 6 months in prison for hitting her coworker.
She black, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
There it is. You know how they do us. All right. I want to thank my co-hosts Al Reynolds and Funky Dineva for joining me and doing their thing. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Stay tuned for Fox Soul Face Off. And of course, we'll see you tomorrow. We got like 15 seconds left. What y'all doing tonight? Y'all getting anything fun?
Nah, I'm going to call Uber Eats, get some food and lay down. And my friend Larnett, gave me recommendation on Netflix. I'm gonna watch some Netflix tonight, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna write my lesson plans because my students read me the riot act today. So.